All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are all set to begin with our today's webinar. Once again, I welcome all our participants to this exciting series where HR Association of India, along with Great Manager Institute, brings you the 2022 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Leading People in the Current Times. Great Manager Institute conduct a Great People Managers survey in India and have come up with the list of top 100 managers, and the recognition is powered by Forbes India and Great Manager Institute, where we are fortunate to have five managers from the esteemed list who would be sharing their success stories, mantras, hits and misses and achievements over leading their team in current times. To know more about HR Association of India and Great Manager Institute, I would request all our participants to visit the link posted in the chat window. Request all participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It's my privilege to introduce Mr. Gurmeet Bhatia, Regional General Manager, Inox Leisure. I would also like to congratulate him over this achievement. Mr. Gurmeet Bhatia is an IIM Calcutta alumnus who brings in more than 15 years of experience in operations of retail and multiplex setups. Currently works as general manager and cluster head with Inox Leisure Limited. His people management skills have been recognized and awarded by Asia Pacific HRM Congress in the past. His leadership style ensures that his team achieves not only professional but also personal growth. He believes in building a positive and healthy work relationship with his team, providing regular feedback and listening to their viewpoints. He directs and motivates his team to achieve goals. You can follow him on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Once again, congratulations, Mr. Gurmeet, and we are extremely excited to have you here. Over to you.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. So good to see everyone, logged in. I see a lot of cameras being switched on. I mean, it's always nice to have a face to the name. So if people can switch on the cameras, I think it will always be helpful to, interact in a much better way. So Faisal, what I'll do is I'll straight away go on and start off with the presentation that I've made on the topic that has been selected about leading teams in the current times. So just one second. Can everyone see the screen? Faisal, is the screen
visible? Yes. We can see the screen.
All right. So for most of us, in this forum, teamwork is a part of everyday life. Whether it is at home, in the community, or at work. We are often expected to be a functional part of a performing team. So it's not only an organization where you are part of a team, but everywhere. I mean, as I said, it's a part of life now. I started my career as a management trainee in retail with Future Group. I went on to grow as a department manager, to an assistant store manager, and then to a store manager managing a hypermarket. In my current organization, that is Inox Leisure Limited, I started in the role of a cluster head, when I was handling 16 cinemas across Mumbai. And today, as a RGM, I lead 27 cinemas across 3 states, that is Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. I have been fortunate that I have always been in a profile which required handling a team. It's never been a role where it's an individual role. Over the years, the team size has grown from about 5 people when I started off as a department manager, handling one small section in a hypermarket, to today where I manage more than 45 people directly under me across various functions like operations, marketing, sales, housekeeping, and obviously apart from that, there are so many indirect reportees to me with regards to the front end staff working across the multiplexes that I handle in my region. I think over the last few years, even my style of leadership has evolved. As the dynamics have kept on changing, the size of team has kept on changing. I think I've also learned so much from my own team, which has helped me to grow as an individual as well as as a professional. You know, so what I'm going to do is I'll just share with you what all I have practiced, during my years in a leadership role, uh, what I've done in terms of handling my team, and how it has helped me and obviously overall team and the organization. So I've kept this very simple, basic, not too many jargons. So we'll start going through, the pointers that I have made, things that I feel are quite basic, but if done right, can really help uh, in the overall development of a team and the organization. So we'll start off with that. Uh, as a leader, what's your role? The biggest role I believe is to support the team. Now, when I say support a team as a leader, it is not just supporting on a professional level, but also at times on on a personal level. This is something that I actually realized more during the COVID time. For about 2 years when everything was shut, there was so much of uncertainty. We all know that across sectors, there were job losses, there was insecurity. Uh, I think at that point of time, that support on a personal level that I could do, that I could give my team is something that really helped. And I think that was one of the learnings for me also. What we used to do was, we all know Zoom became a part of life. So many meetings happened during COVID. In fact, everyone said that during COVID we actually working more than what we usually do. But I think I also used that medium to interact with my team on a daily basis, just to check with them if everything is going fine, if everything at their homes at a personal level is fine, and also supporting them wherever I could, with regards to the HR policies for mediclaims, because there were a few of the team members who did, get affected by the pandemic. So I think support as a leader is very important at a ground level, which will really help you. When I say mentor, being a mentor, I firmly believe unless you don't mentor your team and teach them things that will help them grow to the next level, you yourself will never grow. Because what time ये होता है that people, the top management will think, okay, if I promote you, who is going to take your place? And if you have not mentored people below you, if you have not taught them about the next level of their current role, you will never be able to grow. You need a replacement within the team to take your level, and so that you can also move forward. So it is very important to create an environment that will encourage people to take decisions and also manage things at their own level. Now, when we say as a mentor, I think it is also important that whenever a team member is making any mistake, because mistakes will always happen, take out time to tell them where they have gone wrong and teach them how to do things right. Very important that when someone is accepting their mistake, we do not, punish them or just lose our head on them, because that will only discourage other people from accepting their mistakes in the future. You do not want your team to hide things from you. So very important that you teach people how to do things right the next time, and support them if they have made some mistake. Provide resources. As a leader, today I take care of various cross functions like marketing, finance, operations. So my immediate reportees are the regional managers and also the cinema managers. Now, for them to manage their cinemas well, it is very important that they get all the important resources, all the important support required. So, as a leader, it is very important to give them that kind of ammunition to run, their businesses. So that's something that I feel is very important. Promote a learning environment. Now, again, when I say learning environment, what I have done over the years is encourage cross-department learning. So, operations guy need not just know only about operations. He needs to also learn about finance. In my line of business, that is cinemas, it is very important that the operations guy also learns about projection, because we run cinemas, we run movies, sound and projection, engineering, housekeeping, and that is something that will actually help the person when they want to grow to the next level. Because just with one particular knowledge of just one particular function is not going to take you places. You need to be an all-rounder. So very, very cautiously, me and my training team do this, wherein we conduct regular trainings for our people, not just at the cinema manager level, but also at the duty manager level, at the team leader level, where people are made to go through, cross-functional training, which will help them in the future. So, and also when somebody is learning, that is also motivation. It's very different from your routine jobs that, you come to the work, do your regular thing, go back. Over a period of time, that becomes very monotonous and people tend to lose interest. Hence, it is very important that, you teach them something new, which will excite them, which will, help them grow on a professional and a personal level. Next thing which I feel is very, very important is catching people doing the right thing. Now, nothing motivates someone like a public recognition. We all want recognition at our levels, no matter how big we have grown in our positions, but we all want to be recognized for our work. If an employee is to be commended for something, it has to be done publicly. Often right in the middle of their workplace, while they are surrounded by their co-workers. That I believe sends a very, very powerful message to everyone. That is something that I have myself experienced. I know if I am appreciated for my work by my bosses, by my superiors in front of my team, it will always push me to push me to go to next level. Also, very important that we celebrate the team milestones together. Not that when a work is there, when a task is there, it is divided among all the team members. So if something good is happening, the credit also needs to be divided among all. So it's important that we celebrate team milestones together. I think it breaks up the routine of the everyday work. It gives a well-deserved break, and it also motivates people to work harder once they return back to work refreshed. Another thing that I feel is important is within the team, ask regularly that how are we doing. We should be taking feedbacks from all levels, from our team who are working with us. And I believe people at a ground level will have much more understanding of the business. Especially, I have always worked in service industry. I've been into retail, I've been into hospitality, I've been now in multiplexes. So I think getting feedback from the ground level is something that will always help you. And the team will also feel, okay, we are being also, our feedback is taken, it is being heard and implemented. Now, when we have a team, we have a set of people working together, people coming from different backgrounds, different educational backgrounds. So there are bound to be some kind of issues within a team that will always happen. It's not possible to have a perfect, harmonious, team all the time. So as a leader, you must always present an honest, caring, and a dedicated attitude to inspire others. And if you have to inspire loyalty, you must have a track record of honesty and fairness. If any of your team member feels that they have been treated wrongly, even if that has not happened intentionally, but if that is something that is in their mind and you come to know about it, you need to address the issue immediately, because people will talk, and a problem that is ignored is a problem that will always grow. So very important to address any issues immediately. Listening to people. When people believe that you are hard to open up or hard to give suggestions and believe and feel that they're not being heard to, there will be a point of time where they will actually stop coming up to you and not give you feedbacks. And when they believe that they have been heard, they will work harder, even if at times if they disagree with the method, maybe, but if they believe in your vision, they will always be there. Simply listening to others will make them feel empowered. I've seen this, how when team members come and talk to me and I listen to them properly, they feel empowered. And if a team member feels that there's no point talking to you, they won't. They will disengage themselves from your vision and just follow your instructions for the sake of it. So very important that you listen to your team members. Going that extra mile, as a leader, if you are seen as going that extra mile, your team members will also put in that extra effort for achieving your the goals that you guys have set in. When I say be seen, it simply means, again, I would give an example of my industry, that is cinemas, and before that, when I worked in retail. If you sit in your office all the time and your team does not see you, you will be perceived as someone who is maybe out of the loop, who is uninformed or maybe uninterested, and maybe people will feel you are not worthy to lead them. So it's important that you be on the floor with them, be with the team. Make it a point that you see your team every single day. Spend some time with them. Listen to them. So, as I said, being seen, being visible is very important. Now, talking about conflicts and egos, I'm sure all of us as leaders have at some or other point faced this kind of an issue wherein a set of people within your team, there is a conflict or a clash of egos within the team. Uh, when you're working on a project, when you're working on a particular task as a team, there will be different ideas that will come across, and different ideas will compete for consideration. And if that is badly managed, that can be very destructive for a team. Egos will emerge, and unnecessary cold wars will occur. And in extreme cases, this can actually damage the entire team. It can damage the entire uh, goal that you guys are working as a team. Team conflict is normal, but it can also, I believe, be a catalyst for creativity. So, as a leader, you need to address the conflicts immediately and directly, so that issues don't go up further. Once you understand both the sides of an issue, you can help the team to generate a win-win solution. And I think as a leader, it's very important that your communication is very assertive. I think that's a very important skill that a leader should possess. You don't need to be aggressive, but you need to be assertive. Creating mutual respect. We all want to be respected, and you will never be worthy of respect if you don't give respect to people. Respect should be given to everyone at all levels, irrespective of the position that the person is holding, irrespective of the number of years of experience that a person has. So, as I said, respect should be given to everyone at all levels. You need to build respect in all ways. You need to be available to your team members. You need to be visible to your team members. Show them that you are available and interested in knowing everything about them, what they do, and develop and demonstrate your knowledge of the organization and the details of your overall organization. If you're perceived as being knowledgeable and someone who can answer questions, you will not only earn respect but also motivate others to learn as well. Because when you go into detailing, when you know your processes, your products in and out, you are in a better way to teach your team, and that will only motivate others also to learn, because they know your expectations. Now they know that as a leader you go into every detail. They know that you will not accept half-hearted answers. You will not accept half-baked answers, and that will actually motivate them also to learn in detail about your entire process, your system. So very important that you have the proper knowledge about your company and your product. One more thing that I very firmly believe when it comes to respect is respecting your team members, private time or their family time. Uh, Unfortunately, especially in service industries, what happens is you're working round the clock. So if somebody is working in retail, someone is working maybe in a QSR or even in a multiplex setup, your office timings are like from morning 9:30 till about 10:30, 11 in the night also. And you need not call up your team members all the time. So just to give an example, I lead cinemas, I lead multiplexes. So if there's something that has come up urgently, or if there's any information that I require maybe late in the evening, I would not call up my unit managers, because usually they leave by 7:30 p.m. on weekdays. So I know there is a manager on duty who is going to be there till late night, so I can call him and take information from him. So very important that we respect the family time that our team members have. Try to avoid them calling them on their week offs, post working hours. That is something that I do not encourage. So respecting someone's private time is very, very important. I think that makes a lot of difference. So just to give an example of myself. So in 2018-19, when I enrolled for my course in IIM Calcutta, this was an executive course, a 1-year executive course that I was doing then. Now it required me to attend classes on a Wednesday evening at 6 to 7 p.m. In the evenings. Now I work on weekdays. My week off is on a Sunday. But my immediate manager, my regional director at that particular time, Mr. Satwik, when I shared with him that this is the course and how it's going to help me in the future, he ensured that get, I get to leave early on each and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. so that I can attend my online classes at 6 p.m. And I can't tell you how much it really helped me, because that gave me the confidence that on every Wednesday I can focus my complete attention on the course that I'm doing. I keep telling him that completing that course from IIM would not have been possible had he not helped me, give me that space of studying in during my working hours. So it really makes a big difference. Now, when I say encouraging the heart, now it only means that we all know that team members are not robots. They're all individuals who have intellect and they have emotions, and if you not deal with them at those levels, it will ultimately backfire. You cannot program loyalty. So as I was saying, very important to have a connect one-on-one with your team members on a personal level. Check with them how they are doing, how their families are doing. If they need any support, during the bad times, be with them, and in the long run, it will really, really help you. Another thing that I use as a tool is my team meetings. Now, I seriously believe that team meetings that we have is a very important tool in team building and team facilitation. If you conduct your team meetings regularly in a proper, well structured manner, there's a lot of information that can flow within the team. A lot of things that can a lot of ideas can be exchanged. A lot of best practices can be exchanged, and a lot of learning can happen. So very important to use these team meetings to gel with your team. Also, at a senior manager level, you need to. In my current role, as I said, I'm managing. I have a regional manager finance. I have a regional manager HR. I have a regional manager operations who keep reporting to me. Very important for me that I keep giving them equal amount of time and attention to each function. I make it a point that every week I meet my regional finance managers for at least 2 hours to understand what is happening in the finance business. I make it a point to meet my regional HR manager every week for at least 2 hours to understand any people-related issues, my attrition rates, my manpower gaps. If you don't do these kind of cross-functional meetings with all the team members, different departments, there will be a point of time wherein people will actually start functioning in a isolated manner. Each department will keep working on their own, and there'll not be any synergy within the team members. So very important, use your team meetings as a great tool to connect with your team, get more ideas, share best practices, and I think that can really give you a lot of insights. As a leader, these are few things that I believe every leader should have, and I make a serious effort to ensure that I am complying to these characteristics as a leader. If you have honesty, integrity, and the ability to deal with everyone fairly, that is something that everyone will be able to see. It's something very visible. Also, as a leader, be willing to listen to criticism. If you are too afraid of what others might say about you, or you ignore legitimate complaints, insisting on respect solely because of your position, you will lose the respect and cooperation of your followers and peers. So very important that you do not allow any team member to disrespect others. If he's doing something which is not acceptable, please put your foot down, tell them it's not acceptable, and set an example. So you do not want one person's behavior to spoil the decorum of the entire team. Some things that I feel you should be avoiding, being aggressive. When I say being aggressive, uh, you need not be aggressive all the times, but you surely need to be assertive in what you're saying and what you want to do. Failing to let others express their opinions, I think that is something. If you don't allow them to share their opinions, even if it is not right, because no solution or no answer or no opinion is right or wrong. Everybody should be encouraged to express themselves, because that is, you never know from where you will get a good idea that you can implement. But if you don't encourage that, or if you make a mockery of someone's views, the other team members will also make a note of that, and going forward maybe you will not get that kind of ideas or opinions coming from your team. And you cannot operate or you cannot achieve your goals if you do not get feedbacks or ideas from your team. As a leader, very important to get time to time feedback. And in adequate planning, I believe you need to plan your goals well. You need to set realistic goals, and that's how you can lead a team. So these were some of the things that I feel have helped me to lead. Some simple basic pointers that I wanted to share. We can have a question answer session or any other things that you want to discuss, and then have an open session.
Thank you, Mr. Gurmeet. So before we go to the Q&A session, we would be initiating a poll. So request all participants to kindly share your feedback. While you're doing so, request all participants to kindly post their questions in the chat window. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about the participation e-certificate offered by HREI and GMI. You can claim your e-certificate by sharing your details, name, and session attended in an email to the email ID provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by the end of the day today. We will email the e-certificates to you based on the details received. So, Mr. Gurmeet, we have some of the questions that we have received from the registrations. So we'll just go through that.
Sure, let's do that.
The first question is, how did this pandemic affect the way your organization operates? What did you do to adapt and grow in spite of this crisis?
So, pandemic obviously was bad for all of us. We saw a lot of like all sectors we did. Even multiplex, was badly affected because we did not have any other revenue stream. The cinemas were closed. The collections were zero for a very, very long time. In that way, we did see uh, a lot of multitasking happening. So earlier, if we had a lot of people for each department, there was a lean structure that obviously came up post COVID. Uh, we did see a reduction across sectors, and cinemas were no different. But during this time, I think how we streamed to one, as I said, we had a lot of cross-functional trainings held for all team members. One, obviously, to keep people interested and their knowledge upgraded, because it was a long time wherein the cinemas were shut for. Because even while other sectors opened, cinemas were the last to open. So we did not want to waste that time. We thought, let us keep upgrading our knowledge of our team members. So we did a lot of trainings, refresher trainings. There were a lot of protocols that actually came up as per the government norms. So we did a lot of trainings on COVID protocols for all the team members. We also came up with tie-ups with e-learning portals. So if me as an employee wants to learn, say, advanced Excel skills. So we had a tie-up with one of the e-learning portals wherein a team member could go and register himself and learn that course free of cost. That was a corporate tie-up that we had. So through that, a lot of people were able to upskill themselves and utilize that time rather than focusing on all the negativity that was all around them. So one was that I think that really helped a lot of people wherein they got to learn new skills. Other thing is we did a lot of wellness Zoom calls. So we did tie up with wellness centers. We did a lot of sessions on yoga with certified yoga trainers for our team members. So that was like a once in 15 days activity wherein people would come in, do online yoga, wellness. Uh, we did a lot of sessions on uh, planning of money, how to financial planning. At that point of time, you know, everybody was thinking, okay, oh, all my savings are going off. So we did a lot of sessions on financial planning, how you can save money, where else you should invest. So a lot of time was utilized on all these parameters to divert the attention on from the pandemic towards new learnings, towards more wellness sessions, so that that could help them concentrate on the good things rather than the pandemic.
Very good. Very nicely answered, Mr. Gurmeet. We have one more question that has come from the participants is how can I revamp the communication plans for my direct team and the organization at large?
Sorry, how can I
Revamp the communication plans with my
okay.
direct team and in the organization at large.
Communication plans?
Yeah, communication is the important thing, right, in leadership.
Right,
How
right.
can we strengthen that
So I tell you, when you say communications within the team, I think now over a period of time, especially during post pandemic, uh, obviously communicating is a great way, because uh, earlier there used to be only one-on-one meetings that used to happen, but post COVID, I think Zoom is a great way to keep interacting with your teams across different geographical territories. So yeah, I mean, using all these technologies is something that you can use to improve your communication. Also, I think we need to move from the more formal way of communication to a much more informal way of communication, wherein it has to be an open door policy that we need to adopt. Times are changing. You cannot have that uh, old school way of communication, or old school typical bureaucratic way of communication. I think it has to be much more open, much more personal level communication, especially post COVID, where your emotional quotient needs to really go up. So I think you need to move away from your typical old school methods of communication.
So we do not need to be rigid at times. We need
Absolutely
to.
not. And that is also very important for a leader, because it's not just the team members, but as a leader, you will have to make that change. You will have to walk the talk and show that you are available all the times. You cannot one thing that I always followed, and I always tell my cinema managers to follow, is never ever say that I'm too busy or I don't have time. Trust me, you always have time available, if you really want to make it. So just being available, being open uh, to your team members, as a leader, you will have to make that change. You will have to drive that change.
Very nicely said, Mr. Gurmeet. One more question that has come up by the participant is what more can we do to strengthen our company culture and boost our employee satisfaction index?
So I think culture is something that flows from the top management. I mean, it's a top to bottom approach. That change has to happen. The change of mindset needs to happen at from the top level. No one individual can make that change. Just one HR manager won't be able to make that change unless the top management is really believing into that. So one, I believe the top management has to be in sync with what you want to drive in terms of the overall culture, because culture, I believe, is a very, very strong emotion. It's not just a word, it's a very strong emotion, because the culture will actually drive the overall performance of the company. Culture is something that people will work for. I have worked with Tatas. I work with Tata Chroma, and I think a lot of people will swear by the culture of Tatas. So for me, culture is not a word; it's a complete emotion. So, and it's not very easy to just change the culture. It's a gradual shift. It takes a lot of time to change the culture because it involves your company from top management to bottom. There are different people from different age groups, different backgrounds. The culture surely needs to be driven from the top management, and it will take a lot of time to change that. But yes, if your intent is right, and if you show small improvements in whatever you are doing, whatever small steps you are taking, and you see an improvement, I think that is something really that will go in a long way in changing the culture. With regards to we spoke about the happiness index.
Yes,
Uh,
satisfaction index.
Satisfaction index, I think company needs to have proper reward and recognition programs. I think that's something that is very important. Even a small recognition will go in a long way to improve the happiness of today. Uh, Me going and saying good work done to a operation executive or a OA or a sales guy at a ground level. If I just go and pat him and appreciate him in front of the team during the team briefings, that itself is enough to improve his happiness quotient at least for that particular day. So you know uh, I think recognizing people, catching them doing the right thing, appreciating them on the spot. You don't say अच्छा उसने कल अच्छा किया था, I will appreciate him maybe tomorrow, day after. Appreciate him at the right time, at the same time. I think that's very important. Appreciating maybe 2 days, 3 days down the line later, maybe it would lose its sanctity, but immediately, publicly, very important.
Rightly said, Mr. Gurmeet. So the next question is how leaders can effectively maintain this organization culturally, but in VUCA times, and what all different strategies they need to build.
How leaders can maintain the culture.
Yeah, yeah. But during the VUCA times, the VUCA world, in the VUCA world.
So, as I said, culture is something that cannot be changed over a period of time. You need to build that culture. But yes, building a culture of openness, building a culture of, as I said, recognizing people. As a leader, you need to practice all that. You cannot. So, uh, if I have to build a culture of punctuality, if I say that, okay, the reporting time for all my regional managers is 9 a.m. in the morning, and if I keep walking in at 9:15 in the office, it's not going to develop a culture of punctuality in my system. So you need to start practicing first. You need to showcase that you yourself are living the values set by the company, or the standards that you yourself are setting up, and then the team will follow that for sure.
So one more question. When we talk about current time and coming future, how our workplaces, jobs, and skills are shaping up? How can we remain relevant in future?
So the only way to remain relevant in future is to keep upgrading yourself, keep upskilling yourself. So again, to give you an example, I was talking to you about me doing that course in 2018-19, executive course from IIM Calcutta. So I have been an MBA myself. I have completed my MBA in 2004, 2006. But what I learned at that time was obviously much different than what was happening in say 2018, 2019. It's so maybe pursuing a course, uh, maybe learning a new skill, upgrading yourself. Uh, I believe you need to read a lot about what is happening in your industry and in the environment. That's the only way to keep, to ready yourself for the future. If you do not adopt to changes, you do not, if you keep doing things the old school type, what the company or the organization or the sector was doing 8, 10 years before, same is not relevant today. You know, Again, to give you an example of my industry, that is cinema. You know, 8, 10 years ago, cinema was just like you come to watch a movie, eat popcorn, samosa, and go away. Today, cinema is a completely different experience. It's much more than just watching a movie. There's so much of service, there's so much of food. It's a complete experience today. So as manager, as me as a regional manager, I cannot just be focusing only on running movies. That's it. I need to focus on improving the skill of my team members with regards to customer service, giving them more trainings, teaching them what is happening in the hospitality sector. So that is how they will improve themselves, how they will grow, and maybe they are also ready for the future, because going forward the industry will grow more. So you need to keep upgrading your skills. Very important.
True,
If you
true.
need to remain relevant, you'll have to keep upgrading your skills.
So, one more question, and this may be the last question. What are the key and proven best practices for leading a team in current times? Any few examples from your side?
So as I said, communication with the team very important. Celebrating team successes. So I'll give an example. You know what we did during COVID. Uh, I used to have a Zoom meet every day with my team. Need not be only related to work. We would catch up, talk about things, how everything is happening at a personal level. What we started during that time was we started celebrating birthdays of our team members online. So I have 16 cinema managers working under me. So earlier, obviously, when we were pre-COVID, we would all meet together. But then we made it a point that we continue the tradition of celebrating somebody's birthday or somebody's achievement even online. So these are small ways of how you can keep improving communication with your team on a daily basis. The more you connect with your team, the better you can lead a team. And I think as a leader, the quality that you need to surely have is integrity and being fair to all. You cannot have a bias towards anyone. You cannot be partial towards anyone. Things like these are not hidden. People are smart enough to understand if you as a leader are biased towards someone, or if you're partial towards someone. I think integrity and being impartial, being fair to everyone is something. I think that's the best way to lead your team.
Thank you, Mr. Gurmeet, for answering all the answers to our question so beautifully. Uh, Thank you for this insightful session. There are many takeaways from this session, like managing conflicts and egos, making the most of the team meetings, creating mutual respect among the team. I'm sure our participants have had a lot to learn and take away from this session. I
Thank you.
sincerely thank Great Manager Institute for their association and support extended. This session would not have been possible without Great Manager Institute, where we are privileged to be working with them on this series. Though we all know about Great Manager Institute, I would want to welcome Ms. Gunjan Chelani, Community and Events Manager, Great Manager Institute, to talk more on Great Manager Institute.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you, Mr. Gurmeet. Um, so, welcome everyone. It was a really insightful session. GMI is a global organization and a sister concern of Great Places to Work, where we assess people manager skills, just like how Gurmeet Singh mentioned that you need to know and be on the trend. What we do is there's a framework called Connect, Develop, and Inspire. And on those parameters, there are 18 questions, and each people manager is assessed by their team members first. And on the round second, they're asked to list down their best practices. Those are assessment parameters. And then we also, as a additional layer, we recognize them with our previous partners like Forbes India. And Mr. Gurmeet himself has been a great people manager and can vouch for how our great people managers are our patrons. Additionally, we have also started building a community of great people managers where industry experts are going to mentor one-on-one people managers, first-time managers. And I'm here to talk a little bit more about it. Just give me a second to present my screen. So as I told, great manager is what we have as our principal's assessment product. However, we are coming soon with our community, which will be called Great Managers League, which will help people in connect, grow, and network around people manager skills, where we are hosting one-on-one mentoring sessions to help and nurture young people managers, interact and engage with them in terms of our master classes, just like how HRAI is doing one for you all, round tables, which is a closed door events, and help them navigate their careers and help them in transforming their careers too. So if you're curious to know it more, you can just drop in an email to me or my team at community@Great Managers Institute. Happy to have more questions around it, or even to our primary program or assessment, which is Great People Manager Study, which is the annual study happens, and registrations for that is also open. So any questions from the audience about it? All right, I think I was clear enough. Thank you, Faisal, and thank you, Mr. Gurmeet. Over to you, Faisal.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Gunjan, for letting us know about Great Manager Institute, and thanks for the benefits extended to the HRAI members. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Gurmeet, for this
Thank you.
beautiful session. We would love to host you again very soon.
Sure.
Thank you. Also, would like to thank all our participants for joining us today. Do join us for our next masterclass by Mr. Amitabh Ray, MD, Ericsson Global Services, tomorrow at 3 p.m. That's it for our today's webinar. Hope to see you soon. Stay safe, take care, and bye for now. Thank you, Mr. Gurmeet. Thank you, Gunjan.
Thank you. Thank you.